Hello people, so today we're working a big ugly slab of Tallahatta quartzite. This is some material I picked up from my buddy Jake Anderson, who I think originally got this from Jonathan Johnson. Tallahatta quartzite is pretty much silicified sandstone. It's not technically a real quartzite. It's a dang quartzite though. I mean, it chips the same. But anyways, the quartz isn't limestone. It's actual sand. And Tallahatta is quite tough. Definitely known to have seams and imperfections in it, cracks, and occasionally fossils too, actually. Which is actually probably what that mark across the stone is right here. But we're gonna give it a shot. This is a decent sized tab, though I don't expect we're gonna keep the entire size of it, just because Tallahatta's finicky and you never know where a seam or whatnot's gonna lie in it. But hopefully as we get into it, we'll find some good material. Usually on Tallahatta quartzite, the inner part of the stone is actually the best. It's kind of the opposite of chert in that aspect, because with chert, typically the part right next to the cortex is usually the best. Got us a big bopper today to start off with, and we're just gonna take us a couple little opportunistic flakes just to kind of see what's inside of it. Yeah, really thick cortex on this piece, which Tallahatta is known for having fairly rough cortex. Every now and then you get lucky and you get one that's got some fairly thin cortex, or it's been river worn away, but it's not the case in this one. This piece most likely came off of a land quarry as opposed to a creek, so we'll have to just see what we got. Now, Tallahatta quartzite, it forms primarily in southwest Alabama and southeast and central Mississippi, because the band kind of curves up. If you look on a geological map, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there are some very small deposits of this in much lower grade form in Houston and Henry County, Alabama. It's really, really rare. And the only reason I know that is because some of the local arrowhead collectors in Henry County came across a spot where this was kind of popping out of the wall naturally. And lo and behold, they found themselves a little Tallahatta quartzite point not too far up on the hill. So, but those quarries are kind of considered irrelevant in terms of how much Tallahatta quartzite comes out of it and the quality of it. Like, it's just like a random little pocket here and there of it. But Andalusia, Alabama is kind of the start of the formation as you're heading west. I mean, you can find them a little further east than that, but the biggest quarries in Andalusia, Alabama are kind of the start of it. This piece looks like it's going to be mostly silver and gray. Maybe a little bit of that snowflake pattern as we get deeper, but not too bad. We got a natural seam going across right here, so who knows how well that's going to actually hold up. I don't know. We'll just have to keep on going. Messy, messy stone, man. Yeah. See, and a lot of people don't realize, but central, south, and southwest Alabama are absolutely loaded with stone artifacts, points, whether that be knife blades, spear points, atlatl darts, arrow points, various knives and whatnot. Lots of different styles as well. In fact, many of the styles that you find in Southwest Alabama are the same style, same culture as the points you find made out of coastal plains chert a little farther east. They just, you know, the natives used what they had. They didn't have chert out there for the most part. They had Tallahatta quartzite. One of the benefits of Tallahatta is that you don't heat it. I mean, you can't improve the stone, which kind of sucks, but you don't need to heat treat it, so at least you don't have to worry about that step. It's either gonna nap or it's not. It's pretty easy, you know. It's got 2 settings, on and off. Well, Tallahatta's got 2 settings. Either it's gonna work or it's not. Kind of makes it a little easier like that. Some pretty banding we've got here. Gotta love the banding patterns. And right now I'm just kind of taking chunks off to just kind of clean the edges up, get rid of some of that cortex. As we progress a little further, I'm going to be heavily abrading this stone. Tallahatta quartzite likes its abrasion. Doesn't travel well without it. Hard to take thin skinning flakes on Tallahatta because a lot of times that Tallahatta is it's gonna crumble with a skinning flake. There's not enough significant meat behind it to actually carry the flake. Yeah, hitting on sand, cortex, and Tallahatta also dampens your blow pretty good. So you know, you kind of gotta gamble with it every time you make a strike on the sand part. Will it go? Will it not? Will it actually carry? Will it shatter? You know, who knows? Who knows? Ow, dang. It is sharp too, very sharp. Pretty. Beautiful banding in it. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, see, like in the middle of it, you'll have these little random pockets of junk. You know, silica pockets or just voids in the sand. Every now and then you get an old fossil in there, but the fossils preserve much better in the coastal plains chert formation as opposed to the Tallahatta sandstone formation. But you can't get them. You can't get shells and all kind of fun stuff in these things. You never know. Yeah, beautiful banding. That's gorgeous. You know, I doubt this point will be the full size of the stone when we're done, but if I could conserve that banding in the inner part of it, I'd be pretty happy, because that's pretty. Tallahatta quartzite is known to come in quite a few color variables, pattern variables as well. I think the rarest being black Tallahatta quartzite, which I've had the privilege of being able to work a few pieces and make a couple nice points off of it. Mr. Bobby Davis is the gentleman who provided me with the black Tallahatta once upon a time. And even for him, who he knows where that particular spot is at, where it forms, from what I understand, he doesn't find it all the time. It's quite rare. It naps like a stiffer but firmer grade of Tallahatta. So you gotta just make sure your platforms are set up right when working the black stuff. But But so long as your platforms are decent, I mean, for the most part, it takes. Tallahatta does not knap like regular stone does. It is not the same as chert, flint, agate, jasper, any of that. It definitely has a mind of its own. So we're not looking too bad now. I think now it's time to start attacking this, which is pretty much one giant square edge. Square edges can be difficult to chip on sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, it's clearing out. It's not bad, you know. Beautiful banding in it. Yeah, I've had this piece for quite some time. Just haven't really done anything with it. I've got a few big chunks of Tallahatta over there in the big rock pile, but I just haven't really felt the urge to pick it up and mess with it. I do like chipping on Tallahatta though. Most people give it one or two tries and then they steer clear away from it, but you know, a coastal plains napper is already used to working fairly tough material, so Tallahatta quartzite is just kind of another step up, to be honest. It's not really super difficult. Once you've mastered the intricacies of working bad coastal plains chert, Tallahatta quartzite isn't too bad. Alright, so we're getting into an issue here where we've got a really thin section of actual Tallahatta in between the sand. So it looks like the sand dives in here. It also dives in here. And I might be losing a bit of width to get to a point in the stone where the Tallahatta is thick enough to actually have two faces. So just bear with me here as we continue thinning out. I think now is about the time I'm going to start sanding my edges and making platforms. So we're just going to go all the way around. Just keep it simple. You know, that's another thing too, when it comes down to stone, a lot of people get hung up on something, and you know, a lot of times the simplest solution to a flake or to a problem area on a stone is the best one. You know, there's an old saying, KISS is good. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink it. If you don't think it's going to run, prep your platform. If you're confident, send it. Go for it. Most of the time you'll be right, especially with the more experience you get. But if you have any doubt, listen to your doubt, get your platforms right, and keep it simple. Yeah, see, I feel a lot more confident with that. Now, we're getting to a point here where we've got a thinner midsection, like lot less mass here, even though the main thickness is kind of the same. But we have a big fat end here. Not too much on this side, but definitely on this side. So I'm going to get a slightly smaller bopper, and we're going to take some of that mass off, because even though the stone is quite thick, I don't want to shock the stone in the middle. Yeah, see, nice abraded edge does real good with Tallahatta. Beautiful. Yeah. See, we took a lot of that mass off here. So that's pretty cool. A lot of that mass is now gone. Got a couple more strikes here. Yep. Just to keep that mass reduction going. This flaw on the inside of the stone is quite an issue. It's just a big seam in the middle of it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Not sure if we're going to end up removing that and keeping length, or just having to rip off the whole end of it. Because I don't know how far it runs. I don't know at what angle it runs. You know, that's one of the things with Tallahatta is that you'll never really know. There's no way to safely and accurately predict it in any kind of capacity. Yeah, see, I knocked some of it off, but that doesn't really give me any more answer to the problem. But we've thinned out the tip a fair bit. I mean, we still got more work to do, obviously, but I feel like now we're at a point where we can go ahead and move on. So I'm going to take this opportunistic strike now on this platform and run this ridge and take hopefully some of this hump off. Yep, that did really good. Cleaned a lot of that off. Nice. Okay, that'll do. Man, this stone is tricky. Dang. Yeah, this little bitty seam in the middle is like all that there is right there. That's tough. Get that sand off. Okay. Hit here, hopefully kind of undercut some of this right here. That's so much sand here, holy moly. Alright, there's a little something, that gives us some playroom there. Yeah, that can work with that. Okay, so now I think I'm going to work on taking this square edge off from the base and move my way up, so that way we're taking some of that mass off and we don't run the risk of shocking the stone with a big center clearing strike. So let's get started on that. Nothing super crazy, just kind of trying to make some platforms right now. I might could do this. There we go. That beautiful piece. Gorgeous, gorgeous material. And if that was a piece of flint, I'd keep it, but with Tallahatta, that's just not thick enough to really get anything off of unless you're making a tiny burr point. So it goes in the rock garden. And if ever I decide, hey, I'm gonna make some bird points, I'll just go dig that flake up and go. I got lots of them. Lots and lots of flakes. All right. So now we're getting somewhere. Kind of got messed up again because there's another inclusion here, but now that we've taken some of that mass off, I just undercut it and roll over it. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. So now we've removed the square edge, and we have also lowered the platform, or lowered the striking edge, I should say, thus giving us a nice semi-continuous platform to go one way, and on the opposite side we have plenty of platform to go this way. So we've got a nice twist in the stone right now, which not really the worst thing actually. So I can strike here and travel and carry all this crap off, and then here we can go and help clear off this tip and take some of this extra sand off. And then once the sand is gone on both sides, we can really see what we're actually able to do with this stone. Plus, of course, we have this massive seam on the opposite side, so God knows if this will actually hold up or not. The thinner you get it with Tallahatta, though, the weaker it gets. Now, I have noticed that most Tallahatta quartzite artifacts that I found are fairly thick. It's hard to get this stuff super thin and keep it intact because it will break. Let me tell you. That was a large but a very good strike. Let's clean up. We've got another platform here to go across. Got another big platform here to clean out. I'm going to do the smaller one. Yeah. And I'm going to meet this one in the middle here from the opposite side, so that way we're not just leaving a big fat mass on the end. Not something you want to do. Cool. And then good. Okay. Let's meet that in the middle. Here we go. Beautiful. I'm going to go one time over and take this nice little knot off on the end. Ready? Beep. Perfect. Yeah. Nice. Take one more here. Yeah, just to kind of blend it out a little bit. Okay. All right, continue on with this side now that this tip is a lot thinner. I'm not sure I like the angle that it provides me if I hit directly here. Excuse me, I got something in my shoe. Tallahatta's a messy stone. But, so I might strike a little bit further down. So not right here on the tip, but maybe right here. In fact, yeah, let me just take that off. Yep. Yep. Do one more wrapping up below it. And there it goes. Just a little. Kind of difficult here. That's that really thin part in the Tallahatta. Like the sand starts here and right here. And it's just the smallest of edges to actually catch into. Big old Tallahatta blade, boy. That beautiful banding in it. Ooh, you know what? I wonder if I can make a big one-piece knife out of this. That actually would be really cool. I might do that. This is a nice piece. Well, it's pretty. It's not very nice. See that inclusion just goes all the way through. So I think if I want to retain the length on this, a one-piece knife blade would be a decent option. If I want to make anything more refined, like a very nicely made fine point, I'm gonna lose length. That is increasingly obvious as we continue on with this stone. I gotta get rid of that little sand spot. Yeah. Maybe God will smile down on me and I can turn this to a giant pickwick or something. That's wishful thinking right there, though. Just with the amount of issues this stone has. Hit here, drive in, just like that. Not per se the longest flake, but it went just a hair past the center line and it really undercut all of that sand in that area, so I can live with that. It's not the worst hit, you know. I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna drop the edge. Straight into that inclusion, just trying to clear it out a little bit. I think we got it though. All right, we got to do work on this side. I'll get to this hump here in the middle after, but we've got to clear out something on the other side first. Okay, I guess we'll go down. Yeah, so you're starting to chip into that sand now, get it out. Ah! Wow, no wonder. Jeez. Look how far that inclusion went. I mean, that's almost halfway through the stone, dude. Yeah. See, that's another one of the things. Like, it goes in and then just stops. Just stops halfway through. There's no way anyone can predict that. That tip is thick enough, though. That'd definitely make a bird point later. Ugly little gray one, but whatever, man. If it works, it works, you know? Little bummed we lost the weight or the length of it, but you know, I was kind of half expecting it anyways. It's always nice to be hopeful, though. Okay, got a little bit of mass on that tip. That's a little extra. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that now before we continue. Yep. Yep, that's what it was. I just wanted to get that center off, which looks like some of these striations, though pretty, they are not Tallahatta quartzite. Those are sand inclusions. So we'll have to be careful on that, especially as we get thinner, because they are going to start stalling out pretty bad. Okay. All right. Let us continue on to take off the mass. Yeah, nice clean up right there. We'll need it from the other side just to keep it even. Yeah, I barely made it, but it made it. There we go. Much better. Big, beautiful biface. Gorgeous. I wish it wasn't chock full of so many problems. But I did choose to work Tallahatta quartzite this morning, so get what you get. All right. Just to clear that. Clear that little sand there. Now we're gonna use, I misstruck on that one. Do a smaller bopper here just to break a piece and give me a little bit of a lip to eat down into, which sets me up for a much better strike here. Yeah, I like this a lot better. Tough strike, but it carried. Like I said, Tallahatta ain't the easiest to work, you know, I mean. That sand is stubborn. There we go. That's good. Ow. There we go. Clean that up. Kind of undercut in here. This would have ran in more, but I think the sand stalled it out. See, we got an undercut right here. It could have kept going, but it didn't. But I think, ow, within the next few strikes, we'll be able to clear it out. If not here, from then the other side. Nope. Yeah, how you like me now? Just gotta remember to braid. Braid more than you would even with chert. I think now we're at the point where the biface is mostly well, I mean, it's bifaced. It's ready. So now it's just kind of opportunistic flakes to kind of thin it and shape it, and then we should be pretty close after that. Ow. Beautiful. It's like zebra stripes or tiger stripes in that. Beautiful piece. I suppose we need to take this sand hump off on the back. Ran into another seam here. Small seam, but it stalled that flake. That's alright though, we blended it from the back. No problem. Alright, our initial plague level inclusion is now gone completely. Beautiful. Take this little notch off here on the base. That did not work at all. Yeah, see, thinner you get it on Tallahatta, man, it gets finicky. Things that you think will work sometimes don't. Yeah, that's just a bad spot. There's all kind of little hiccups and garbage in that stone. Little rust inclusions. That's all that's left of that stone, or that sand, I meant. Yeah, that did the base some good right there. That did a lot of good, actually. Cool. Nice and easy. Very good. That about did it. Yep. Nice and easy with Tallahatta. Nice and easy. Look at that. That's nice. Okay. Cool. I think I'm at the point now where I'm just going to start eating up some of the edge to drop platforms and continue on with our striking. at that edge. Sorry, that was an opportunistic flake. I saw the platform and I just had to go for it. Went pretty well too. This stripy stuff is kind of the highest grade of stone in this entire biface, which is kind of surprising. A lot of times that stripy stuff is only like mid-tier at best, but I guess the rest of the stone here is of less than average quality for Tallahatta. So that's the mid-tier stuff is kind of the cream of the crop on this piece. I'm surprised it stayed this big though. I thought it would have more inclusions and break. So I'll take it. Loud, isn't it? T-break. Oh yeah. You know I flint that because it says flint that. Love me some Milo's tea. It'll be the death of me one day. But until then, alright. Let's see. Best platform I've got now is probably here to take this mass off. Or completely not. Never mind. There we go. Another thing with Tallahatta too is that a lot of the flakes will they'll continue to run and then they just kind of like stick almost and they just don't pop off. And you can try and dig your nail on them, and if it doesn't go the first 1 or 2 times you pick at it, just leave it, because if you try to pick at it and it does come loose, it will cut you. If it's just genuinely that stuck, just leave it, just take it off with another flake down the road, or pressure flaker when it's safe. That would be my professional recommendation with it. And we're going to meet it from the other side, take off this nasty hump here. Yeah. Yeah. It always comes back to me chipping on that tip real easy, because you just want to reduce the weight. Yeah, tip that's too heavy, man, that will ruin your chipping session all day long, man. Especially with Tallahatta, because believe it or not, that's about as thin as I want to go with it right here on the tip. That's about as thin, maybe a little thin, like a little thinner. Not by much though, because it will start getting pretty brittle. That's nice and clean. Little hiccup here, but still not even that bad, dude. It's pretty good. Alright. Take some other flake down that way, which that flake just kind of crumbled apart, but it still travels. Weird. It's also difficult getting them superbly thin because you have to drop your platform so much to get a good hardcore flake to take on Tallahatta a lot, and you end up just simply losing your width trying to drop your striking edge down so much. Which I think we're okay. We're clear enough on this face for now. Got a little more work to do on it, but we'll come back to that here in just a sec. Now that we've turned the edges for the most part, let's go ahead and grind them down. And we'll take it from the other side. To my best friend, Jake Anderson, by the way, I surely appreciate the support. I know these videos are a little rough right now, but I'm still kind of getting the gist on thumbnails and editing and all that fun crap. So just bear with me, folks. I promise you, as these videos go on, they'll continue to get better. Bam! We gotta clean that. Misstruck, but second strike still took a little bit off, but we set up a nice little isolated ridge right here and a nice isolated platform. So hitting here should take, yeah, perfect. Bam. Cool. Yeah, that ain't too bad right there. That's not too bad at all. This might be one of my better Tallahatta pieces. Right as I say that, the seam's caught up with me. Now I got a stack right here because it won't take. All right. See, but then that flake spread way out more, and now I've got thin here, thick here. So now I have to take that out. I don't have a choice. The only way I can do that is from the opposite side. Oh, well, yeah, that actually did it. That overshot and cleaned all that off, so no more step. Nice. Very nice. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom, work our way towards the center in terms of thinning. Another one of those ones that just kind of broke apart but still traveled. see a strike here to blend out. Yep, and we did. Look how thin that is. That's getting uncomfortable. That's getting to a point where it's like, all right, that's thin enough. And that's another thing, you know, you gotta know when to look at your piece and be like, okay, we're done. Over chip and over perfectionize it. Eventually it's just gonna break because it's too thin. There's not enough strength left in the stone. There we go, ready? Whoop. Beautiful. I've got just enough to make a small platform here to strike in, and hopefully that will actually hold it together. Okay, here we go. Yeah, nice thin flake across, but took that high spot, that ridge off. Same with that. And a little blender there, just to keep it all pretty. Yeah. See, look how flat that side is now. That's really not that bad, man. I mean, we still got a little work to go on it, but we're getting there. All right, I'm gonna stop the video here because we're getting kind of long. For now, we've got a beautiful banded Tallahatta quartzite blade, which a couple more strikes maybe across this face just to kind of get some of that thickness off. This face is really, really flat. I'm not going to mess with this one much more. So I think one more pass maybe on this side only, going this way. And I think this blade's going to be ready for pressure work. Thanks, guys.